Ascension.
Hello, welcome to Fluid Ascension. My name is Drew, and the only acceptance you need is from yourself. Joined with me today is the incredible Spiritual Baddi.
Hey Drew, hey everyone.
Everything about your energy, I completely appreciate the way that you view the world, and the energy you put into it allows me to be seen and it pushes me forward. And whenever I'm in your presence, I feel so grateful.
That's lovely to hear. I'm glad I can have that impact on you. That is what I, have aimed for and strived for. And I hope, us come together and doing this podcast, that type of energy that you feel and that type of energy that we hold together, that it spreads and the listeners feel it too.
Completely. And I think the mastery comes from not only the interacts that we have in person and when we have a conversation, but reading your story and your experience in One in a Million, A Million in One. It just permeates your creative work and still makes me feel even more seen, because the shared experiences that we've had growing up amplify just how much I resonate with what you're about, which is a really beautiful, rare feeling.
So 1 in a million, A Million in One period, listeners, go check out my book. The link is in my bio. You can see it on Amazon too. I published it at the beginning of 2019 for times like these and for the shift that is currently happening. Yeah, go get your lives.
And that's what I love as well, just like going back into your material and just seeing how much of what's going on right now has been foreseen, hearing about the shift sort of occurring in the future tense and it being something to do shadow work and work towards, and now it's finally materializing on our timelines. It's quite overwhelming.
It's definitely overwhelming. And even, I'm somebody who lives out ahead of things energetically. So I'm somebody who, I published this book and I do all this energy work, but I still find myself, now that the shift is literally here, like being experienced on a day-to-day, I still have to take every day as it comes. I still have to be very easy on myself. It's not a walk in the park for me because I've been doing this work. I think there's power in when we speak about these things and when we come in unity with one another and we openly share our experiences and say, you know what, I've been going through this today, or I'm feeling this heavy today. And I think that's where the power is. And I think that's where we find a lot of ease. I feel like feelings of dissatisfaction will ease up. Feelings of pressure and heaviness will ease up when we have discussions like me and you are having now. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
No, completely. And it does resonate with me a lot. I think that I'm seeing, because the collective is being so easily accessed right now with the shift occurring, it's very easy, I think, to just tap in collectively and experience like the oppressive and kind of negative energy that's present. And I think it's about taking yourself away from that, tapping into yourself, and when you see the internal bliss within you, to just like project that into the collective so that others around you and the collective in general will start to neutralize, and then we will push up the consciousness on the planet even further, so less and less people have to experience the negativity.
And we can even take it back to basics, because there are probably some people listening who, when we say collective, don't even understand what we're saying. So what does collective mean to you? Like, what does collective consciousness mean to you? How would you describe it?
I think it's the idea, collective consciousness for me means about going back to oneness. It's about remembering. It's about understanding that there's good in bad and bad in good. You can get lost in the light, you can get lost in the dark, and collective consciousness is a place where you're not consumed, you can just be, and it's free from egotistical things. It's free from what we've ancestral pain that we've inherited and kind of the values and the projections of other people. Just free to be. When I say, working towards that as a planet, making this planet a place where this can be experienced, as opposed to the old systems which have successfully kept many of us in bondage for so long. And what about collective consciousness for you? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I understand your view on it. I understand how you described it. I see it as collective consciousness is, you know how you said oneness? So it's like this strong sense of oneness. It's like this energetic unity.
Mm-hmm.
We always have energetic unity for eternity. We've had energetic unity before the earth was even here. Our energies in the spirit world and in other realities, energetic unity. When earth comes, energetic unity. Um, Atlantis, energetic unity. So you have this energy of unity among people, among tribes, among energies. So that is the collective. It's the people. We have, now in the 21st century, we have celebrities leading collectives. You have certain people leading the collective, whether then people are in positions of purity leading collectives is another conversation. But you have this collective energy. So that's collective consciousness. It's this collective energy, and we can tap into collective consciousness. We can build ourselves up to tap into collective consciousness and to mold collective consciousness, and it's something that exists for eternity. So for your whole life, for our whole lives, collective consciousness is always growing and expanding. As we cross paths with one another, these times are very significant for collective consciousness. So that's why I want people to know what it actually means, because that's part of this shift. Like, we got to go higher in our knowledge. So,
Yes.
period.
100%. And I am actually very grateful to just clarify it, even on the level of between us, because obviously I think if someone says collective, I think, oh yeah, same view as me, but to actually hear it from another's mouth and to hear those ideas put out there, I think is like, again, creates that sense of unity, and more people can tap into that, the better.
And speaking of the collective, boy, we going through it right now.
It's tough. It's so tough.
I find clarity in knowing that collective energies are governed by energies above us. I find clarity in understanding astrology and studying it. It allows you to get out ahead of things. It's a tool so you can connect higher, rise above certain blocks. Not always rise above, just sometimes just sit, just sometimes just be still and anchor into your power.
Not just for your own personal traits, but to understand it in the sense of how time works and how times and ages and the whole nature of the planet has been affected by astrology for thousands of years, and it being linked with different cultures. I think that's what draws me into it even more so. Obviously, I'm not like a newbie to astrology, so I had a base understanding of astrology before our conversation. But I think when you gave me that reading, it was just like filling so many cups of mine, which were just near the point of being filled. And I think for you to speak so for you, I guess it's an interpretation of the energy that I'm projecting right now as a human in this time, but for you to see past that and to see into my past life and like bring out details, you telling me that I was a mermaid or like said that I had mermaid energy within me. It was later on that night that I started thinking, oh my God, when I was a little boy and I wanted to go to sleep, I just always used to imagine the water filling my bedroom. And I always thought that was weird because why would I be comforted about drowning? But just by you telling me about all what happened in my past life, and I won't go into it too much, but that it allows you to be more in touch with yourself as a person, as an individual.
Right. And it's interesting that, over time and over history, they used the study of stars to guide them, to guide their ships direction on what way to go. Now in the 21st century, we study stars to get knowledge itself. Like, you see how that shifts. It's interesting. And it's one of the things that, I want to focus on today is just speaking about what is upcoming, because we have very powerful astrology. Check out my YouTube. It is Spiritual Baddi. I did a video that talks about the energy shift from 2019 to 2020. and the importance of the relationship between Saturn and Pluto.
That video.
I recorded that in July 2019, Drew. And you?
That kills me. That really does just make me go, because honestly, when I listen, I don't even know when I watched it, but I think I watched it in January, and to just hear you so specifically say what was happening on the planet, and I looked at the date and I was like, this bitch.
Exactly. And then also on my Instagram, I have, on my IGTV, I have the video that is the shift of consciousness 2020, and I speak about astrology there as well. So check out them videos, because I don't want to repeat myself about the astrology that has already passed, because we already know that we're living in, you know, historic monumental times right now, and things are changing and things are collapsing so that they can get rebuilt with a stronger foundation. So we already know that, listeners, I'm sure you've already identified that as well. So I want to focus on what is occurring in June and July, because we're in eclipse season right now. And we literally have 3 eclipses in 1 month. 3 eclipses in 4 weeks. Like, so rare. And this is why this year seems crazy and like we can't understand it, because there's so much going on. But it's because the astrology is so rare, and it's closing out cycles and it's setting new ones.
Yeah, so just to clarify for listeners, when we say about astrology, obviously that's to do with the moon cycles. So like what signs moons are rising. So the moon just gone was a new moon in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
So it changes every month, and with every month comes new energies in
Yeah.
conjunction with other placement within the sky.
Yeah. So the whole thing about astrology is that we know that Earth is the physical planet, right? Because we have humans, we have plants, and we have animals. So we know that this planet is to do with physical life. But then we also know that our physical life isn't the only thing that is dominant here. Because, you know, we go to work, we feel emotions, you know, we have a passion, we have creativity, we have sex with one another, we fall in love with one another, we
Yeah.
have friends, we live in harmony. We also, you know, sometimes slip into anger and frustration. So all these different types of energies are believed to be governed by the planets in our solar system. So the moon is to do with the collective, it's to do with us because it's to do with our emotions. The sun is our self, is our personality, is our beliefs, is our attitudes. You know, Saturn is to do with restriction and responsibility. So each planet means something different. The same way that each sign means something different. You know,
Yeah.
Aries, Gemini, Cancer, they all mean different things.
Moving forward throughout June, what are we kind of expecting to see?
So what's prominent is on June 4th, June 5th, we have the first eclipse, which is in Sagittarius. And the thing about Sagittarius is it's the last fire sign. So Sagittarius always has like this optimistic energy, this very like strong energy, like this determined energy, this strong energy. So if you think about how this strong, determining, optimistic energy is needed in the collective right now, because we need to know who the fuck we are, what we stand for, and we need to know where we need to do our own inner work and what we need to do to heal. So we have to tap into that Sagittarius energy, and it's something that's happened globally. It's an eclipse. It's happening globally. So eclipses back in the day, in ancestors' times, traditionally, eclipses are related with apocalypses.
Wow. Okay.
Apocalypses. And look what the world's going through right now. It's like a modern day fucking apocalypse. Everything goes dark energetically. Maybe in the UK, we don't see it as strongly, or we don't notice what the eclipse actually looks like to the eye. But energetically, once everything goes dark and the eclipse, you know, happens, we need to start knowing that within ourselves, we have the light within here, that we know who we are and we know our power, right? Because the lights are about to go off, let's say, and this is where, you know, the earth is upgrading. So this is where consciousness will start splitting, and this is where we all need to stand together and unify.
the core of your essence is the core of your universe. And a long time throughout my, I guess, spiritual awakening and furthering my understanding, it was this idea of timelines, what timeline you on. And it was quite a hard concept to get my head into. And I've kind
Mm-hmm.
of just realized that, for example, I could be in Sainsbury's with Sheila, who lives down the road and is wearing her gloves and her mask. And Sheila's experience of life is so different. Her timeline is so different than mine, yet we're stood in the same place. So when it's
Mm-hmm.
like timelines crossing and falling, I will never see Sheila again. So our like, quote unquote timelines are kind of like they just went different directions. When you say like tapping into yourself and allowing yourself and your timeline to ascend and go higher and go further because of
Mm-hmm.
how much unlimited abundance and capability there is within you, that means that's how I interpret what you just said.
Yeah, and then just expanding on timelines, Sagittarius eclipse is on Friday the 5th of June. It is in the evening time. It starts at 6:45 p.m. and it lasts a few hours until around 10 p.m. So this eclipse, when I'm saying about Sagittarius having this strong, dominant fire energy, this optimistic energy, and also you talking about timelines, this first eclipse on June the 5th is to do with releasing. It's about releasing them outdated timelines so that you can then make room for what serves your highest good and what serves your heart and what serves you truly. And when we start calling them in, when we start calling in and manifesting them higher timelines and the higher energy, will be at the next eclipse, which is on the 21st of June in Cancer,
Oof,
right?
okay.
So we have like what is happening in June energetically is like a big reset. Because when the Cancer eclipse, the Cancer eclipse on June the 21st, that's the one that I don't know how I'm going to spend that day. I don't know if my phone will be off. I know that for sure. My phone has to be off. I have to have no networks
You'll
on,
have sage, white sage in both of your hands.
bruv, because Cancer eclipse ain't. This Cancer eclipse is a call for the collective. The reason I say that is because the Cancer eclipse, Cancer is the healing sign. It's the mother sign. It's the breast. It's the heart. If you've watched She-Ra, then Cancer is the heart of Euphoria. If you know about Atlantis, then Cancer is the heart of Atlantis.
Period.
This Cancer energy is so needed across the collective right now. Cancer is healing. Cancer is the mother. Cancer is to do with the breast. So it's about rising in our power, taking a stand. Cancer is a water sign. Cancer knows what's up emotionally. It knows what's up. So it's when the moon is in Cancer, it knows what's up. It knows what it needs to do to heal. So it's important that we anchor into this Cancer energy. And what makes this Cancer energy even more unique is because the past 2 years, from 2018, right, to 2020, the North Node, which is our destiny, what we're headed towards, the North Node is to do with the moon. So the North Node is what we're heading towards. That has been residing in Cancer since 2018 till 2020.
Wow.
Been opening up this eclipse energy. It has been there saying this is where the collective needs to be in this strong Cancer healing energy. The North Node has been there from 2018 to 2020. So if you think, even in just your experience alone on what was coming to service for you during these times, 2018 to 2020, I know I had to make some really, higher decisions. I had to really make some sacrifices
Trust me, same.
for my mental health and my sanity and my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that the North Node has been opening up this energy for the eclipse on June 21st, 2020, it's just so important that we anchor into it. Not only that, and I don't say this to, scare people, but it's facts. Because this Cancer eclipse is at 0 degrees of Cancer. The time prior to this, when we've had a Cancer eclipse at 0 degrees, was in June 2001. What happened in 2001 that was world globe changing, travel changing?
The Twin Towers, 9/11.
9/11. So you see that sense of unity that was needed to move through that experience, you know? It's the same type of unity, even stronger, that is needed now.
Whew, that's a lot.
And I'm glad that we can, you know, do this podcast in time. And I hope people really take what we're discussing, you know, seriously, because things are shifting and we need to go higher.
We need to go higher, and the way to do that is by tapping into individual power. And I feel that with these astrological events and knowing of what the collective of humanity is going to be going through, is there any sort of like practices that you would recommend to that individuals can do to really tap in and harness this energy so that their timeline can be the most optimal timeline for them?
Yeah. I would suggest expanding on your spiritual practices if you have any. If you don't have any, adopting some spiritual practices. When I say spiritual practices, I don't mean to scare you. It's not this big thing. You know, a spiritual practice can be writing, jogging can be a form of meditation, eating healthy, trusting what comes to surface, practicing integrity within yourself. You know, integrity is truth. To me, that is where our ultimate power is in our integrity.
Even as simply as when you're walking around, make sure that your jaw's unclenched and that you're consciously breathing, and try to not so much think but feel your way through your day more so. I think that can be quite like a spiritual way to sort of see your surroundings and see what feels good, what doesn't.
Give yourself time off social media. Give yourself time off social media. That is very important now.
100%.
Make sure, you know, try and sleep good. Hopefully not all the listeners will suffer insomnia, but sleep where you can and be easy on yourself, because we have to take every day as it comes. Like I said,
Literally.
yeah, like I said earlier, you know, I'm someone who does a lot of energy work, a lot of spiritual work, and I still have to take every day as it comes. And I still have to talk myself into things, you know, and I still have to push myself to do certain things.
There's still, and I still have to release negativity. There's still that thought that comes into my head. It's like, why are you doing that? Are you sure you should be doing that, Drew? Why don't you do this? Like, why are you doing that again? And it's just about saying no, releasing these negative thoughts that are being projected onto me, and just staying true to myself and being my own light and my own guide.
That's the thing, you know, during this isolation as well. It's like social media is like a competition. People are trying to prove themselves. You don't have to prove yourself to nobody but yourself, boo.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah, I hope everybody remembers that. Like, we don't have to prove ourselves to anybody on what we're doing during lockdown.
Yes.
We good.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So, so true. So, so powerful. Everything that you've described happening astrologically, I think we can agree are things that need to happen. It's energy that needs to be cleared out. And although it feels difficult to move through times such as these, like, we have all chosen to be here at this specific time. I hope listeners will kind of understand this and kind of like go back to themselves more so, and just really get a deeper understanding of what they want and what they want to get out of their life, and just allow this energy to be released without holding on to it and being scared, because you know everything's happening for a reason. And after this, the collective will is shedding its skin, and it's moving towards something more beautiful than anyone of us can even imagine.
Exactly. And, you know, you said these are energies that need to be cleared out, like shedding skin. And it is literally that, because just to quickly speak about Saturn and Pluto, you know, I have to go there. I bring it up in like nearly every conversation I have these days. But Saturn and Pluto, they only meet every 30 to 38 years. They meet each other, Saturn and Pluto. And every time that they do this, big events, global events happen. The World War, the split of the border between India and Pakistan that caused chaos, the biggest world recession in 81 or 82, I think. And now they have just met at the beginning of 2020, and look how the year is playing out.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturn has been traveling through Capricorn. Capricorn is to do with governance and leadership. And I think where the energy needs to be cleared out is that there's just been this strong, long run towards capitalism, this strong strive towards capitalism, towards the bag,
Yes.
towards the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, this inequality. And then people at the bottom are trying to get the bag by any means necessary. They are exhausting their mental health to get the bag. And this drive for external things, external bags, this is what is collapsing.
Yes.
So this is where the skin is shedding, like you said. And this is what needs to shed so the new earth can be formed on earth as it is in heaven. That's what I believe. We're going to live in unity.
Amen. Amen. And if that's what's going to be shared through these coming months and times, this is why I can't help but acknowledge the bliss and the goodness that I feel within myself and within others and within life. And I'm excited and I'm ready for these changes to take place.
Exactly. And it's important to do that right now too, because we're in a global pandemic. I still got hot water. I still got money in my account. I still got food in my fridge. I still got electricity. So if y'all listening was to take one thing from this podcast episode today, how well are you at counting your blessings? Because I'm sure you have multiple things to be grateful for and to show gratitude towards during times like this. Because I know I'm thankful, period, for not being in a underdeveloped country, a country that don't have sanitary, a country that don't have sanitary or good hygiene or sufficient cash flow. It's important that we count our blessings during this time.
Completely. And where you can just breathe that gratitude into the collective and those that you come across and allow that to grow, because it is the abundance within is unlimited, and it's a reserve that you can tap into. And I again make myself remember that that's what I should be tapping into, not other people's projections or collective fear or anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And when when I find my mind rambles about what's going on, I find my mind rambling in an anxious way sometimes or a fearing way sometimes, I just come straight back to my blessings. I remember that I have these lungs that I'm breathing through right now, and I have a roof over my head, and my family are safe and well. And I just go on.
And a beautiful wall of windows that look out to the sky.
Period. And yeah, so I just start counting my blessings, even when it feels stupid, because part of me wants to feel low. I still count my blessings then. That's what it's about. It's just really installing this deeper, higher energy within us.
Yeah, 100,000%. Everything you've said has resonated and made me vibrate at a higher frequency. So I'm definitely sending you gratitude for that. Just as sort of like a closing piece of advice to listeners, sort of moving through this monumental change throughout June, is there any kind of like advice or mantras that you'd like to share?
Thank you once again. I'm glad that, I had that impact on you in this energy exchange. And I would just say and reassure people there's a higher energy that is always guiding you. You have ancestors that have endured much more pain that you are enduring right now. Call upon them to help move you through these times. Call upon higher energy. If you call it God, if you call it source, if you call it universe, if you call it ancestors, angels, those that came before you, call upon higher energies to guide you through and make it clear to you what you are supposed to do. And in regards to mantras, wade in the water. Okay. It means to wade means to wait, to be still, to withstand the water. Wade in the water because God's going to trouble the water. And when it says God's going to trouble the water, it don't mean something negative, trouble. It means God is going to enter the water and the water is going to part. That's what I've been singing to myself every day, every time I shower. And it's the same song that Harriet Tubman sang in slavery times when she was freeing all the slaves.
Wow.
And she started singing that song and the water parted for her. So that's my mantra. Wade in the water. That's my mantra. How much longer are we going to have to wade in the water, God?
That's such a beautiful concluding message. I will be wading in the water, and yeah, we're all moving towards something beautiful. So I hope everyone does stay tapped in. Spiritual Buddy, keep feeding your light, and I will keep basking in it. Thank you so, so much for joining me.
Period. And we got a few episodes coming. So we're going to be sharing that power and that energy with all our beautiful listeners. And if you are interested on your specific astrology and you know what time you're born, y'all can hit me up for readings. Y'all can find the information on my Instagram page and y'all can DM me so I can read your chart and see specifically and individually what energies are waiting for you to tap into.
Spiritual Baddies reading changed my life, and they can change your life as well. So hit that link in the bio and get ready for your mind to be blown.
Period. And I don't know where you're listening or watching this, but we're going to put all the relevant links below the video or below the icon.
Yeah, and definitely stay tuned because there's much more content to come from myself and Spiritual Baddi. Once again, thank you so much for this exchange, and I'm sending you so much love.
Fluid Ascension.